Scope 1 and Scope 2 GHG calculation method as per GHG protocol. 1. Introduction purpose. To outline the methodology for calculating Scope 1 and Scope 2 greenhouse gas (GHG) emissions in accordance with the GHG protocol. 2. Scope 1. Direct GHG emissions from owned or controlled sources. Scope 2. Indirect GHG emissions from the generation of purchased electricity, steam, heat, and cooling consumed by the organization. Data collection. Emphasize the importance of accurate and complete data collection for reliable results. Reporting boundaries. Clearly define the organizational boundaries and the scope of the inventory, e.g., company-wide, site-specific. 2. Scope 1 emissions. Identify sources. 1. Fuel combustion. Fuel combustion. On-site boilers, company vehicles, cars, trucks, etc., stationary engines, other fuel-burning equipment. Process emissions. Fugitive emissions from industrial processes, e.g., refrigerant leaks, solvent use, other sources. On-site waste disposal, landfills, data collection. 2. Fuel consumption. Gather data on fuel types, e.g., natural gas, diesel, gasoline, and consumption volumes. Emission factors. Obtain appropriate emission factors from reliable sources, e.g., Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. Calculations. 3. Calculate emissions for each source by multiplying the activity data, e.g., fuel consumption, by the corresponding emission factor. Convert all emissions to CO2 equivalents, CO2e, using global warming potentials, GWPs, from the IPCC. 3. Scope 2 emissions. Data collection. 1. Electricity consumption. Gather data on electricity consumption from utility bills or energy management systems. Emission factors. Location-based approach. Use grid average emission factors for the region where the electricity is consumed. Market-based approach. If the company purchases renewable energy certificates, RECs, use market-based emission factors that reflect the avoided emissions associated with renewable energy generation. Calculations. 2. Calculate Scope 2 emissions by multiplying electricity consumption by the appropriate emission factor. Convert all emissions to CO2 equivalents, CO2e. 4. Quality assurance, controlled data validation. Conduct thorough data checks for accuracy and completeness. Peer review. Involve internal or external experts in reviewing the methodology and calculations. Documentation. Maintain clear and comprehensive documentation of all data sources, calculations, and assumptions. 5. Reporting framework. Follow relevant reporting frameworks, e.g., the GHG Protocol Corporate Standard, Global Reporting Initiative, GRI. Transparency. Ensure transparent and consistent reporting of Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions data. Data verification. Consider third-party verification of the GHG inventory for increased credibility. 6. Continuous improvement. Data refinement. Continuously refine data collection and calculation methods to improve accuracy and completeness. Emission reduction. Use the GHG inventory to identify opportunities for reducing emissions and set reduction targets. Stakeholder engagement. Engage with stakeholders, employees, investors, customers, on GHG reduction initiatives. Note: this is a general script. The specific methodology and data requirements may vary depending on the organization's size, complexity, and industry. Disclaimer: this script provides a general overview and should not be considered professional advice. It is essential to consult the official GHG protocol guidance and seek expert advice for accurate and reliable GHG accounting. This script can be further customized by adding specific examples relevant to the organization, including details on data sources and software tools used for calculations, addressing specific challenges and considerations related to GHG accounting. I hope this script is helpful.